Hi, my name is Cassandra Brown, and I did my community assessment of Wilson County in Tennessee. This is the county that I currently live in and have lived in for 3 years. I previously lived in Davidson County, which contains the state capital. Um, and there also, this is the county that I did a lot of my comparisons to. It's much larger than Wilson, but it is a good one to compare to as they are borders. Some key points about Wilson that help in understanding the assessment. It's very rapidly growing. It has a very high growth rate compared to other counties nearby. Some of this is due to its close proximity to Nashville, the state capital, and another reason is it is seen as a very country sort of county, which is starting to change as it begins to urbanize more, and we see closer to the Davidson County, Wilson County line, more urbanization as you get farther out from this line. Then there is it's much more rural. We also see a lot um, less resources and a lot less as far as assets are concerned. There are three cities in Wilson County. Mount Juliet is the closest to the state capital line, and then Lebanon, and then Watertown, which Watertown is the farthest out and the most rural. Um, Wilson is not a very diverse community. It's about 85.7% white, showing very minimal diversity. It also has a very low poverty level of only about 9% compared to about 14% for Davidson and 13% for the state of Tennessee as a whole. It's also mostly middle and upper class. The median income is about 66,123, which is higher than both Davidson and Tennessee as a whole. The next thing I want to talk about is the health profile of Wilson County. Um, on the screen, I displayed kind of a table that is a lot of the statistics I looked at with it. And there's nothing strikingly different about Wilson County compared to Davidson County and Tennessee, or even kind of the U.S. overall. Initially, I looked just at Davidson County in Tennessee, and looking at these numbers, Wilson County looks to be doing pretty good. It has better mortality rates in each of the categories listed. But when we look at the statistics for the United States as a whole, Wilson County does not meet the same standards as what the United States is hitting, showing that there's definitely some room for improvement. This seems to be across the state, as the numbers for Tennessee are strikingly higher than all the numbers for the United States. So I can see that I could see there was a clear issue within Wilson County, because the numbers are not as good as they are for the United States, but it just wasn't clear. There wasn't one individual statistic that really stood out as, one specific disease that was a problem. The same was true looking at there was no disparity concerning, age, race, or gender. I did see that across the board, every county, within Tennessee and within the United States, does seem to be a disparity between men and women. Men seem to have a higher mortality rate in almost every category than women, but this still made it. I wasn't real sure exactly what kind of my priority health issue was. So, not really seeing what my priority health concern should be, I tried to look more at my windshield survey and my interviews to gather the information a little more. There are 2 emergency rooms throughout the county, TriStar Summit, Mount Juliet emergency room. There's no hospital with this. It is strictly an emergency room, and it is brand new. It has only been open since January, very early January. The second is Tenova, which is in Lebanon, leaving there's no sort of hospital or emergency room in Watertown, the most rural area. And Tenova has a very bad reputation. My second interview was with Sean Boss, a lead radiologist at the facility, and he had a lot of concerns about the actual Tenova facility itself. They just lost several physicians. For example, there's no physician to cover pediatrics. There's no physician to cover cardiac interventional radiology, which is very concerning. There's a multitude of walk-in and urgent care clinics from the windshield survey. It was hard to drive through Mount Juliet and not go down a main street and not find one, which is good. But again, the farther you go out into more rural Watertown, this was not the case. It was also interesting that there weren't a whole lot of doctor's offices noted throughout the county. Just these urgent care clinics and these emergency rooms, which kind of shows there's not a lot of long-term care that is provided, which kind of brought me to stumble across my priority health issue, which, as determined by Healthy People 2020, access to healthcare and availability of physicians can be an issue. So on the table I've posted here, the ratio in Wilson County for primary care physician to residents. For every primary care physician, there are 2,800 residents, which is just super high when we look at Davidson County, which is 1,090 to 1, and then even just Tennessee overall is about 1,380 to 1. So that kind of showed me there's definitely an issue here that's not seen other places, and perhaps this could be leading to why Wilson County doesn't have the good or the better statistics that we see with the United States overall, because there aren't physicians that are caring for these patients long term. Wilson County seems to be more concerned with urgent care and emergency care, but if we could get more primary care physicians in the area, residents could be treated more frequently and not just, kind of on a emergent basis. Some of the assets and capabilities I found in the community, there are a ton of parks and recreation, which is likely why the obesity rate has decreased a lot in recent years. There's actually 2 state parks in the county. The school system is also stellar. There's a 96% high school graduation rate, which is higher than Davidson County and Tennessee. And the other thing to note about Wilson County is the sense of community that is there. This was noted in both of my interviews, that it's just a very strong community. There's a sense of pride. People are proud. They like to volunteer a lot. There's a lot of help in the community. There's also multiple kind of county events every year. The Wilson County Fair is a very big one that's very known about. And I feel that we could use these sort of assets and capabilities to help with promoting the rapid growth that's taking place in Wilson County. All these assets are things that are great to live in. So use these to bring physicians to the county. And the county just has to start communicating better about healthcare and make better adjustments as it grows. As it grows, it's got to be able to adjust to the number of physicians that are needed. But that is overall what I found. that's overall what I found about my community. The major issue is the access to healthcare due to not having enough physicians, but I do think that it is something that could be fairly easily addressed, especially with the rapid growth that's occurring. Thanks.